Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Sonic the Hedgehog Part 4. So after we've cleared the Labyrinth Zone, we're now in the Starlight Zone. Possibly my favorite zone in the entire game, the Starlight Zone. I think it's supposed to be somewhere in space or something like that, hence the name Starlight. It looks like space when you look outside. But I'm actually starting to think now, there's some sort of city somewhere, some sort of industrialized city somewhere at nighttime. You can see there's like the very industrial looking buildings and it's nighttime. And it plays music that suggests it's like a peaceful, quiet night, but really something evil is brewing up. We're very close to that Dr. Ivo Robotnik man-child's lair, where we could go and finally fight him and end all this chaos and defeat the man-child and save Sonic's reputation from being something that's only associated with crazy man-children that live in their parents' basement and do nothing but complain about stupid stuff on the internet. They just sit down in their parents' basement all day, every day, and wearing nothing but their tidy whiteys and typing on a computer. Stuff about how they're married to Sonic characters, or this guy's like a 30-year-old man. He's married to Cream the Rabbit from one of the much later Sonic the Hedgehog games. And he goes on about how that should be normal to marry fictional characters, like have a waifu of someone that's not real at all kind of thing. Yeah, Sonic wants to end all of that, and the only way he could possibly do that is if he destroys the main villain right now. Oh, and there's also only one more bonus stage left in this game. There's only one more Chaos Emerald we haven't gotten yet. We're really running out of opportunities to get, because you can only do it in like the first two acts of each zone. It's the second last zone of the game. Yeah, so far we're into this game already. This is already the second last zone of the entire game. That's how far we are in this game. This game isn't very long at all, but again, it's actually pretty common for a Sega Genesis game. Most Sega Genesis games aren't very long, simply because most Genesis games don't have save features. You know, most people don't like spending hundreds and hundreds of hours at a time playing a game. The people who made Kid Chameleon clearly didn't know that, because they made Kid Chameleon like one of the longest games on the Sega Genesis. I spent hours playing that game. I lost count of how much time I spent playing that game in total. And I've never gotten anywhere near the end of that game. This is just that long of a game. I can never Let's Play it because I can only Let's Play games I have cleared before. And so now we've made it to the last bonus stage of the game. Now all I have to do is go for this psychedelic pinball thing. It's not really pinball, but this psychedelic bonus stage thing. Is it even really a bonus stage? I keep calling it a bonus stage. Is it really that? It's more of a special stage. Yeah, it's not even really like that special, because they go for a lot of them. What you have to do if you want to get the Chaos Emerald, so we could, get the special ending. So I know special stage, special ending, I guess is what this is trying to imply. Well, we got the last Chaos Emerald. Now we have all 6 of them. Sonic got them all. What do all these Chaos Emeralds do? Well, we'll find out when the game is over. We'll see what all these Chaos Emeralds do in the end of this game. So now we're finally in Act 2 of the Starlight Zone, and now it's good that we got all the Chaos Emeralds, because it's kind of impossible to get them after this point, considering the fact there's so many hazards everywhere, there's a lack of rings everywhere. It's almost impossible to play for this entire thing without taking a hit. At this point now, if we do get 50 rings or more and we clear a level, it's not going to give us a bonus stage, because all the bonus stages have been cleared, and those robots are immortal. The only thing that can possibly kill them is them exploding, which is something they naturally do over time. Even running through them with invincibility doesn't kill those robot things is bizarre. I wonder who had more, impressive robots, who had a more impressive robot army. Was it Dr. Robotnik? Or was it the CIS, the Separatists from the Star Wars prequels? They had quite an amazing array of different robotic enemies that they use, battle droids and stuff like that. I can imagine Sonic the Hedgehog going for them. I used to play this game a lot around the same time I'd play Star Wars Battlefront 2 a lot of the time. I often used to fantasize about the two being merged together. You imagine Green Hill Zone being a map in Star Wars Battlefront 2, and Sonic was like a soldier in it with a gun or something like that, and he would fight against the Separatists and with clones and stuff like that. That actually sounds like a pretty cool idea for a mod, if anyone, because there are a lot of mods in Star Wars Battlefront 2. That sounds like an awesome idea for a mod, actually, the Sonic mod in the game Sonic in Star Wars Battlefront 2. That does sound really impressive. Battlefront 2 probably is like the greatest Star Wars game ever. I've spent so much time playing it. I was first given the PSP version of that game a very long time ago. And I thought it was pretty cool. Then I was introduced to the PC and PS2 versions shortly after. Then I realized this is nothing but a scam. What's the point of playing the PSP version? The PS2 and PC versions are way better. That's kind of like imagine if you got the Master System or Game Gear version of Sonic the Hedgehog, and you play it thinking, this is pretty decent, but then you see the Genesis version, you realize, why do I play this crap? Just play the Genesis version. You could play the Genesis. The only way you could really play a Genesis version portably back in the day is if you had a Sega Nomad, which was this thing that played Sega Genesis games. And it was portable. It was a portable system that actually played real Genesis games. It was quite abysmal too, so a lot of people didn't really use those things that much. It was still pretty impressive for back in the day. I think they could play Genesis games on the go, Genesis games portably. I've been trying to play Jumping Flash portably for years, to get Jumping Flash to run something portably for years. Like try to run it on my PSP, just like I tried to get this game to run on PSP for emulation. So I can play it wherever I want, whenever I want, when I'm out and about. You know, like I'm walking down the street with having a sudden urge to play the game. I could do that. Just take it out and just play the game while I'm walking down the street. A good way to, play these games. I always wanted to have Jumping Flash. The closest I ever got to that was when I finally got the PS1 emulator running on Android, and then I found a way to connect my PS1 controller to my Android phone so I could play Jumping Flash on it that way. I'm sure I could do the same with Sonic. I never actually played Sonic on that thing, but I'm sure it can play Sonic, and playing with a PS1 controller probably does play perfectly fine. So here's Dr. Iva, Robotnik Man-Child again, just flying around, dropping his spiky bombs, not even trying this time, being very lazy and just shooting down these bombs. They do explode over time, these spiky ball bomb things that he thinks are going to pose a big threat or a major challenge to us. All the bosses in this game always take 8 hits to kill them. And I lost count of how many times I've hit this guy, but I'm sure it's close to 8 or nearly 8. Because they always take 8 hits. They're good. They may not seem like that a lot of the time, but look at that. Just destroyed him like that easy. He was a wuss. That's probably the easiest or one of the easiest bosses of this game. Sometimes I wonder if it's one of the first bosses of this game. I used to see people all the time struggle at the first boss of this game, and they weren't necessarily bad gamers either. They were just like average, regular class gamers, and they would struggle at the first boss of this game. I wondered how they would struggle. How could you possibly struggle? Was he some sort of art or something like that you'd struggle? So now here we are in the Scrap Brain Zone, the final zone of the game. We're in Dr. Robotnik's factory where it plays intimidating, industrialized music as you run through the corridors of this factory and collect all the rings possible and avoid getting crushed by things. I mean, if this were in real life, you would get frickin' crushed into nothing in like a matter of seconds. But oh no, he's Sonic the Hedgehog. He can run through anything easy. This is almost like in Star Wars Episode 2 when Anakin ran for that droid factory and just slashed down everything like it was nothing. He's a Jedi, so I guess that makes sense. He'd be able to kill everything just quickly or fight off everything as quickly as that. But Sonic is, Sonic is probably better than a Jedi. Sonic is way more powerful than any Jedi in Star Wars. Sonic could kick Anakin's butt easy. He could probably whoop Anakin like he's nothing. Sonic the Hedgehog is a much better Jedi than Anakin Skywalker will be. And there's all sorts of platforms in this level. You really have to watch yourself in this level. There's even reappearing, disappearing blocks in this level, just like something out of Mega Man. Like in the Mega Man games, they have reappearing, disappearing blocks. And the only way you could possibly run through those is if you run fast. It's almost like in those kind of like I would read game FAQs, and they would say for Super Mario Bros. 2, the Japanese version, oh, you can just jump through those like things, those platforms with gaps in them, those grounds with floors of gaps in them. You can just jump on each one, but I think it's better to just run for them. Even Mario was good at running that fast. Even Mario could run that fast, and he could just run through all the gaps, and for Sonic, that's nothing, because Sonic is supposedly the fastest thing alive. He's ultra fast, and yet, you'd think he'd be an awesome character for racing games, but there weren't really very many Sonic racing games. I mean, there was a Sonic Drift games there on the Game Gear. There was Sonic Drift and Sonic Drift 2, which is kind of like Sonic Mario Kart. And then years later, you had Sonic R, which is kind of like, almost like a precursor to Rayman Arena, almost, where it's like a running race where all the characters run after each other, or run for the races. But of course, Sonic would always win that because he's the fastest thing alive. He's way faster than any of the other characters in the Sonic franchise. It's part of what makes him Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, I never really thought of Sonic R much as being a bad game. A lot of people said it was a bad game. It's probably because I would always play the GameCube, well, the version that was on the Sonic Gems collection for GameCube. I think they made some improvements to that version. That may have been why. That was one of the first videos I ever made on YouTube, was of Sonic R, where I played for the entirety of Sonic R. There was no commentary at all. That's simply because it was just, that's before I did commentary on YouTube videos. And I was amazed at how I recorded that on my ZTE phone from 2015. And it recorded the entire thing perfectly. I've never seen such perfect picture and sound quality from a cheap budget phone from 2015. And it actually sounds pretty good. It looks really good and all. I was really impressed with that video. I actually still was impressed. I actually am quite impressed with some of my earlier videos. The most viewed video I have on YouTube right now is that time in January of 2018 where I played through, Pac-Man Arrangement. Yeah, I played through Pac-Man Arrangement. It was the first time I ever did a full playthrough of a game in a YouTube video. Man, I got through the whole game like 20 minutes. And yet that's I got 3.5 thousand views on that video. That's way more views than most of my videos. I already looked at some of the stats for some of the earlier videos of this Let's Play I'm doing right now, and they actually already are getting a lot of views. They get 19 views, or 22 views, or 26 views. That's way more views than a lot of my other videos. If I made tons of videos and each one got that many views, I may be eligible for monetization eventually, and then, I can make money off of these videos. I always want to make money off YouTube videos, but YouTube doesn't seem to let me do that. And by the time I do get anywhere near there, they're going to change their rules again, so I'm not going to be able to get monetized again. I wonder if Vimeo has better rules for that. Some of those other video sharing platforms have ever uses for that. Speaking of platforms, I'm considering severing ties with Facebook. I had a lot of issues with Facebook. Years ago, Facebook people using it to send as a means of sending obscene content to people and to teachers and almost getting thrown out of school because of that. And it's still going on to this day where people DM me on Facebook to share obscene, illegal content. So I actually because Facebook never does anything about it and police never do anything about it either, I'm considering severing ties with Facebook. I very seldom use them. You always feel to associate now, is this something that old people like using? Old people like playing around with it, they also ignore the fact that's mostly used to share obscene content for freaks that like to share obscene content, which is why I don't like it, because they allow something like that to fully, spread around their websites. I wonder if YouTube will ever become like Facebook someday in the future. There's Act 2. Act 2 of the Scrap Brain Zone completed, and now we're gonna go to meet up the man-child himself, Dr. Robotnik. He's just gonna look at that. He's just so wimpy. This made a ray shield to trap us. Ray shields? We're smarter than this. Apparently not. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.